Hey, I'm going to do a handful of quick videos since I don't have an excruciating migraine, so I figured I might as well throw up a few uploads. I want to do another one on the Young Turks because I think I could better illustrate my beef with them and why I dislike them, and just do it again by stuff I've never seen before. But I wanted to show this video first from Sargon of Akkad. Sargon is one of the main reasons why I even do this series. I had shown friends of mine a bunch of his videos, and friends of mine were like, wow, this guy talks about all this stuff the same way you talk to us. Why don't you put your opinion out there? So that's what I'm doing. Sargon is more intellectual than I am. I try to just take more of a common sense approach to things, which I think is a route that anyone could really take. So I recommend everyone check out this video because he really breaks it down why they're awful. But this right here will sum it up, and it's basically why they should be called the Marxist news, or the Young Marxist rather than the Young Turks, because that's how they view everything.
It's just, yeah, that's what it is. We're apologists for fucking rapers. That's what we are.
Yeah, that sounded really hollow, Jimmy. I mean, you'll notice that no one else is laughing. They're probably all thinking, so how exactly am I going to justify arguing for the status quo in Muslim countries so I get to focus on my problems when I know about how bad the status quo in Muslim countries is for women who I claim to stick up for?
We're apologists for religion. We couldn't hate religion more.
Yes.
What we are is we're progressive.
Well, that alone is enough for me to abandon use of that label.
And this also shows that, you know, despite whatever truths may be in each religion and whatnot, it shows their bias right on their sleeve. They hate religion. They hate the right. They hate gun owners. They hate the list of things they hate is much longer than the list of things they like. And this is what gives them their self-righteous, arrogant, snobby, nose-in-the-air attitude.
Seriously.
So what do progressives do? Progressives always are looking to see who's being oppressed.
You probably don't even realize you're doing this, but you're making progressivism sound just like Marxism.
And who's ever being oppressed, that's who I'm in favor of, right?
So like literally Marxist principles. You're always focused on oppressed and oppressor. It's always about power dynamics, even when you're in contexts where that really doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So if an Israeli soldier oppresses a Palestinian, I'm in favor of the Palestinian. The Palestinian goes home and then oppresses his wife, I'm for his wife.
I think you might be for some bed rest, Jimmy, because you sound like a fucking crazy. If the Palestinian is oppressing his wife, why are you for the Palestinian? What if the Israeli is oppressing him by restraining his right to beat and rape his wife? Are you still for the Palestinian then, Jimmy?
And that right there sums up why they don't make any sense, because there's absolutely no consistency, and in the drop of a dime into the next engagement, the person they were just for, they will then just be against. And that's how easy it works. I mean, it's like, let me put it like this. You have people like these progressives supporting Bernie Sanders because of what he's done for civil rights or blacks. And I don't know if he's actually done anything, I mean, besides talking and probably promoting a hell of a lot more welfare. But that means that if a black Democrat were to then hop into the race against Hillary and Bernie Sanders, they would then be for that black Democrat because he then is the bigger minority. Or, you know, Hillary Clinton being a minority with a woman. It basically, you know, and I've said this in another video, sometimes, and this doesn't include identity aspects, but sometimes the minority concept, like say socialism, is held by minorities because it's a bad fucking idea. Simple as that. So, here's this video that was up in my timeline that I wanted to check out. And, you know, these people are probably so well-meaning. Like, I could probably go to a bar and have a beer with Cenk, and as long as we didn't talk about politics, he might be a tolerable person. But the moment he starts talking about politics and getting into his, they're so stupid, that's when I can't stand him. It's the same problem I have with people like the Amazing Atheist and a lot of the atheists on YouTube in general, is they're so snot-nosed and snobby that even if they had something intellectual to offer anyone, you can't get through it because their personality is so unpalatable that you're just like, shut this person up. They're so condescending, they're so arrogant, they're so self-righteous that I can't take them serious whatsoever. So, let's see because what Anna has to say here, because I watched this interview and I would say that Charlamagne was the one that got schooled.
Last week, a host from The Blaze by the name of Tomi Lahren had some strong words for Beyonce's performance during the Super Bowl. Well, we covered that on the show. She did not like the fact that Beyonce's performance applauded the Black Panthers and basically drew awareness to the fact that unarmed Black people are getting shot throughout the country. Well, after she aired her segment, not only did we criticize her, Charlamagne the God, a DJ in New York, also criticized her. And Tomi invited him on her show in order to debate. And I love it because I think Charlamagne the God did a good job in answering some of her questions pertaining to the Black Panthers movement and other things. So we have 3 clips for you. Let's take a quick look at the first one.
Please tell me, why was I your donkey of the day?
Well, you know, Donkey of the Day is a segment that is designed to give people the credit they deserve for being stupid. And I think at times we're all stupid to certain situations, especially if we don't have all the information. And I feel like as an American, you know, I think about the quote that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said when he said, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. As an American, if we see the different injustices that have been happening, you know, with the police and unarmed Americans in America, for Beyonce to speak out against that and for her to have a video where in the video she specifically says, stop shooting us, I don't see how anybody could have a problem with that. Like, if you have a problem with Beyonce saying stop shooting us, then that means you must agree with them shooting us.
Okay, yeah.
Came out strong from the very beginning.
Yeah, she got a little own there. First of all, never start a sentence with, why was I donkey of the day? I never went to debating school that Ted Cruz apparently went to, but I know that that's not a good beginning to a debate.
Right.
So, second of all, Charlamagne knows good framing. He named himself Charlamagne the God. Right. And his opponents are the donkeys of the day. So he's already winning. He's up by a landslide. I'm sure that she brought him on thinking,
what sense does that make whatsoever? I mean, again, they've gone 2 minutes now. They probably showed a 30-second clip, and all they've done is ooze arrogance. Well, Charlamagne, because he's so fucking egomaniacal to refer to himself as the God, and he calls other people donkeys, he's already winning. And this is, again, my issue, that these people are egomaniacs. So let's continue.
You know,
that's true.
I'm
yes.
going to own him because I'm on The Blaze, where we do fun camera angles.
And here's Cenk's signature move. Like, if Cenk was a professional wrestler of political talk, this is his signature maneuver. And there's an interview where he sat down with Ann Coulter, and he tried doing this the whole way through, and Ann kept calling him on it, where he's like, oh, so I'm just going to say what I really say, and you're going to sit here and say, well, what she really means is, and it gives this sort of, you know, his warped world interpretation of what's being said. And I mean, he X-Men, Professor X, fucking mind-reading psychic powers that he tries to attribute to himself and just say, well, what this person is really saying, what they really mean is, and what they're thinking is. And people do it all the time. And I don't know where this egomaniacal streak comes from in these people. I mean, maybe it's rooted in the Marxism, but I don't know. So, keep going.
Okay. But so far it's not going well for her, but let's give her a chance.
Right. And by the way, look, obviously we can't show you the full interview because it's like 17 minutes long. I do suggest you guys watch the full thing. What we're giving you right now, I think, are the most important parts of it. Let's take a look at the second part on more information.
That's the problem here, is my final thoughts weren't about her music or her music video. She's an artist. She's entitled to that. My final thoughts were about her Super Bowl performance and the salute to the Black Panthers, which was a group that was a peaceful civil rights movement. That's what I took issue with. It's not even her music video. It's not her lyrics. It's that sentiment that was made at the Super Bowl that really got under my skin.
Well, I think you're very misinformed about the Black Panthers as well. I mean, if you look at who the Black Panthers were founded by, they were founded by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale. Huey P. Newton had a PhD from the University of California. Bobby Seale, he studied engineering and politics in college. They were created to resist police brutality and the killings of blacks, okay? They used violence if necessary. They didn't even carry guns unless authorized in a matter of self-defense. They wasn't looking...
They used violence if necessary. Not going to, again, I'm not speaking in absolutes. That's what these people do. They will avoid certain facts so they can speak in absolutes and basically use it to make their argument. But what Charlamagne is here advocating is two wrongs make a right. And that's the basic premise. That's the premise behind microaggressions, where it's, you looked at me the wrong way, therefore I am able to smush you in the face, or, you know, do whatever. Two wrongs make a right. And she's here trying to say, you know, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, there's been plenty of people that have done things in a non-violent manner, and I would much rather see that advocated. Besides that, the Black Panthers killed police officers. They were misogynist to the women within their groups. Anyone can read Elaine Brown's A Taste of Power. They killed women that were members of the Black Panthers and killed police. They were infiltrated with the FBI and labeled as a terrorist group by the FBI. So anyone who wants to say they're not, just tell me why the FBI says they're one. I'd love to hear.
Violence at all, but we're willing to get violent if that's what it came to.
They were against violence at all, but willing to get. I mean, how fucking crazy do you have to be to say one thing and then the complete opposite in another sentence?
I even saw something, and I could be wrong, but I thought you kind of likened them to the KKK.
Because they're completely similar to the KKK. I mean, I'm not as familiar with the KKK as I am the Black Panthers, but like I said, both groups were infiltrated by the FBI and COINTEL. That's what COINTEL does. That's the purpose of them, and therefore things super speed downhill.
What I'm saying is, if I were to have a Super Bowl performance that was saluting the KKK, I would never do that. I think that that's wrong. And I'm never saying that it is okay. I'm not saying police brutality is okay. What I'm saying is, on a day where you're supposed to unite the country, where white fans and black fans join together, and you have a Super Bowl performance that basically gives a metaphorical middle finger to half the audience, saying that it's us against them, and you salute Malcolm X, you salute the Black Panthers, that is a group that has roots in violence, and I'm not okay with that at the Super Bowl.
So
now, I'm going to minimize this. She is completely right in saying this, and this is why I don't watch the Super Bowl, and this is why the reaction came like it did come, because the whole premise of the Super Bowl is your team versus my team. Beyonce is a fucking sellout hypocrite. She had a police escort to the event. She had a police escort home from the event. Her and Jay-Z always have police escorts. They are the 1%. The 1% that people are, oh, the 1% so evil. They have everyone working for them, you know, this, and that. Yes, Beyonce has enough money that she can privately hire police to protect her. She doesn't have to call them 911 like everyone else does. She calls them up and says, hey, I need police this day, this time, this many hours. You're at my side, and if someone steps me the wrong way, fucking shoot them for me. That's what she hires them for. So the fact that she's out at the Super Bowl trying to be like, oh no, stop shooting us. Well, why do you have a police escort? I'm pretty sure you hired them to shoot someone if need be. It is the most extreme extreme levels of hypocrisy. And the fact that all of these people, like the Young Turks and everyone else, has tried to rationalize it is so insane. The fact that, you know, a group that, again, isn't perfect, they might have had some good concepts, but they're not angels, basically, is getting portrayed as angels in the defense of this Beyonce whatever. I mean, it's just... It's the government basically runs the Super Bowl. The government approved that performance. So for people to think that Beyonce represents anything but the government and the power establishment, they are foolish. Black people who think Beyonce represents them are doing no more than projecting their own racism onto the world, thinking that every black person lives the exact same life and Beyonce somehow represents them. They are so foolish in thinking that.
I think he did a really good job at calling her out for comparing the Black Panthers to the KKK. I think that comparison is ridiculous, to say the least, right? And she totally dodged that question. And I also like the fact that he's educating her on what the Black Panther movement actually was.
On that front,
No, he didn't. He mentioned two of the founders and that they had PhDs. What they have PhDs in has nothing to do with the Black Panthers. And one of the other things is, if you watch the actual clip, which I'm sure they're selectively editing out of here, Charlamagne is like, well, you know, hands up, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot. And she schooled him. Hands up, don't shoot was a fairy tale. It never happened. He never had his hands up. Never happened one bit. And the other thing is, you know, Mario Woods or whatever, this new guy who got shot, oh, you know, he's the big victim. He was stabbing someone. And now the person is even out saying, man, allegedly. I mean, this is how far they will go to uphold their narrative. The man allegedly stabbed by Mario Woods says he's the forgotten victim. Damn right. I mean, Beyonce's at the Super Bowl basically saying justice for the person who was stabbing someone else. So I guess two wrongs don't make a right all of the time. Not when you have a warped Marxist view and the cops got involved. I mean, maybe if Mario Woods was stabbing this guy and then another just random black guy came by and was like, oh, if a Black Panther came by and shot him, then it'd be cool. Then it'd be alright, because then it's the Black Panthers enforcing, you know, violence and whatnot on one another. And I mean, this is so crazy. I got stabbed someone I don't even know, I don't have beef with him or anything like that, who's treated for a stab wound in his arm. How are you allegedly the victim, but you were treated for a stab wound? I mean, it's so... ugh. Dude, people, these... I wish we could just go for, like, full-on Nuremberg war crimes against all of them. The media, I'd want Melissa Harris Perry, Piers Morgan. I want them all, I've said this before, walked off a bridge at gunpoint. All of these Marxists and radical leftists just walked off a bridge at gunpoint, or send them somewhere else. Just we need a new Australia. We need to give these people their utopia and just, you know, send them all into a place together, let them congregate together and just see how long it lasts. Because I guarantee you they'll be tearing each other's heads off in seconds.
The Black Panthers, the main thing they wanted to do with guns was exercise their Second Amendment rights.
Which you hate.
Focus on that, and right from the beginning they say, hey, look, man, we read the Constitution. It says that we're also allowed to have guns. We're U.S. citizens, right? Mm-hmm. And the NRA stabbed him in the back and helped pass gun regulation in California.
The NRA was established to help get black people guns. I mean, this is the warped revisionist history going on. That the KKK isn't the Democrat Party, that Lyndon B. Johnson didn't pass welfare and say, I'll have these niggers voting Democrat the next 200 years. That Margaret Sanger didn't have it out for minorities with Planned Parenthood. I mean, and it's so funny, I got into an argument with someone online about stuff like this, because there was a video going around about Texas colleges and everything like that, and saying, well, these people down south are trying to rewrite history and say that the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery. It didn't. It had to do with a national currency and banking like every other war. I know everyone wants to have this altruistic, warm, fuzzy feeling, oh, we were saving people. This is the main difference between Democrats and Republicans. Listen to me carefully. When a Republican wants to go to war, it's always on the pretense of, we got hurt, we need to stand up for ourselves, we need to show that we're strong. When a Democrat wants to go to war, it's always, someone needs to be saved, someone's in trouble, and we need to go spread democracy and rescue them. Those are the contexts. That's always the context. But if you really look into it, right after slavery ended, you had a national currency, then you had citizenship, then you had the implementation of crazy taxes that we've, led up to today that are so far beyond what America was rebelled against and was founded on, that you literally had, and I've put this to people as, black slaves were never freed, they just ended up on the whiter side of oppression. And that's what it really is. It's that they now, instead of being owned by another person, they're owned by the government. And that's why the government takes part of your paycheck before you even see it. I mean, it's obviously like having a master. You can't decide you're just going to not pay your taxes that week. They see it before you do. So,
to make sure that they couldn't carry guns because it was the Black Panthers doing it. And now, if you're going to do an insane comparison with the KKK...
One thing I just want to put out real quick, because again, UCT paintings... I saw this the other day in the news. Yeah, here we go. And this is, again, the leftists and, trying to accuse the right of rewriting history and everything. But, as you can see, there was a whole thing even yesterday at, I assume this is University of Connecticut, remove paintings and set them alight and say they are burning whiteness. I mean, and this is why people have a problem with this Super Bowl stuff, because you have this tribalist aspect going on, and then you have Beyonce go to the most televised event of the world of the year, and third most televised ever, and just be like, your team versus my team, here's my side. And it's offspringing things like this. We are appealing for private property owners in Cape Town who may have rooms and colleges available to step forward and assist us in placing the students who are still in need of accommodation and has to be present. He said, if one were to visit a housing office, you would not see a single white student. He said that approximately 700 beds, usually released in early January, cannot be released because the DARE firm is examined, outstanding financial aid decision, and national student financial aid. Funding made available from government, increased call on students for assistance accommodation. All right, I don't know what this housing issue is about, but Roads Must Fall received from the executive this afternoon a letter to ask them to move the shack that they had erected to another location nearby so that they ensure traffic show monuments of students and function uninterrupted. The university has refuted the allegation but conceded that there was an accommodation shortage at UCT. It interferes with the freedom of movement of other staffs. Where's this about the paintings? Several students camped out in an erected shack on the university's main campus last night. Mahola said the university has identified a space where the shack could remain, further stating that they had also had to assist RMF in moving the shack. He said that American and European students were being prioritized while black students were being put on never-ending waiting lists. I wonder, one of the things I thought was really interesting, and this shows what awful character people on the left have, is when Justice Scalia died, there was immediately they latched onto his comments about affirmative action and trying to paint him out to be a racist. People can't even rest in peace. These despicable, sick people want to celebrate someone's death. And there are plenty of articles, affirmative action, here we go. Sorry if I seem all over the place, but I mean, that's how this battle basically is. It's so spread out on all of these fronts, but the overarching view is that power dynamic Marxist view, the painful truth about affirmative action. And I questioned someone on this when they were posting these remarks, and I said, what is wrong with having a D student at a SUNY school where they may get A's, as opposed to putting them in an Ivy League school to fulfill a racial quota, basically to have a token black guy on campus just to say, hey, here's our black students, we're not racist, and it ends up backfiring. And people did not want to admit it. Like, this one kid was asking, he was saying, you know, I have black friends, this, and that. And I said, yeah, but are the black friends you have just so you can say, hey, look, I have black friends, I'm not racist? Or are they quality people who add something to your life that you really value and everything? And the person told me I'm wrong, and then went on to say how I'm right. That it's people that they really value, that are of good character, and everything like that, and they pick and choose the ones that are best fit for their life. And I said, well, why shouldn't a college have the same freedom to do that? Instead, they have these quotas placed on them where they're having to make decisions based upon legislation. This is why we have a problem with the police quotas. The police have to harass and hassle a certain amount of people, otherwise they get in trouble. They have quotas. CPS has to kidnap a certain amount of children, otherwise they end up in trouble and defunded because they have quotas. So the funny thing is after I was talking to this kid and saying, you know, all right, well, if it's, you know, not a issue of mismatching, then why does this list exist? Black freshmen are more likely to aspire to science or engineering than white freshmen, but mismatches cause them to abandon the career twice the rate of whites. Black law students are 4 times likely to fail the bar exams. About half of black college students are in the bottom 10% of their classes, about 10% in law school. So after asking the kid, so if it's not them being at the wrong school, why is this happening? I, of course, got no response, because the reality is if you're not going to place blame on the school and affirmative action, then you have to place blame on the student. And you know they're not going to come out and say, oh, well, it's the black kid's fault. They picked the wrong school. They should have known better. They're not going to say that, because in their mind, that's the minority. So you can't speak ill about them, and you can't give them any responsibility. You just have to keep, you know, it's the Trayvon Martin. Oh, it's their 17-year-old. They're a defenseless baby child. They wouldn't know what they were doing anyway. So, continuing with the Turks.
KK and the Black Panthers, let's go down that road for one quick second. Okay, so Black Panthers say, look, we're doing this to defend our community because we have clear cases of police brutality in the 1960s. It was super obvious. It's fairly obvious to the white community back then as well. And so now the KKK would say, hey, we're doing it to protect the white community. But in the South, where the KKK was strong, it was clear that the white community didn't need protection. They were massively strong and in power, and so they were using it to oppress and terrorize other people. It's not like in the places where the Black Panthers said, hey, you know what, we should also exercise our Second Amendment rights. They were in charge. They were the ones that had power, and they were the ones going and burning crosses and...
See, there's the oppressor who has power. The whole Marxist view on everything just comes out right there.
Lynching white people. No, that was not happening. So that's not the facts at all. And then finally there, Tomi says, oh, you know, she gave us the middle finger.
Now, here's another important point to take. The other similarity between the KKK and the Black Panthers is they are both decentralized groups. That means anyone can come out. It's basically like anonymous. Anyone can come out and say, I'm a member of the KKK now. And some chapters may be violent, some may not. Some may be extreme, some may not. Some may have a legitimate point, some may not. But that's a benefit of the doubt that we, I guess, you guys as progressives, can't afford to give anyone, because there's always an oppressor, and there's always the oppressed. No one's in between. It's always bad guy, good guy, and you're the good guy because you always see things as a fucking Marxist.
By saying us versus them. No, all she's saying is, as Charlamagne said in the beginning, is please don't shoot us. Please don't shoot us isn't the middle finger.
Yeah, please don't shoot people who are stabbing people. Please don't shoot people that are stealing cops' guns right out of their cars. Please don't shoot people that are bashing people's heads into concrete. Please don't shoot people. I mean, this is fucking crazy.
Getting shot when you're unarmed, that's a middle finger.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? It's not crazy. It's exactly what Jimmy said in the first bit. Now, here's the thing, is I guarantee you, if you look at Trayvon Martin, for example, Jimmy would have been in favor of Trayvon Martin while he's, bashing Zimmerman's head on the ground because, one's an oppressor, one's not. And then as soon as he pulls out a gun, then it switches, and, the switch side, everything like that. I mean, that's the warped worldview where it switches. They were probably, there was a video, again, let's just say, devil's advocate, that the narrative is right. Let's say Mike Brown, or whoever the one that stole from the store, and then the whole hands up, don't shoot narrative. If he was stealing from the store from an Indian guy, well, then they're for the Indian guy, because he's being oppressed, he's stealing from him. But then the moment the cop comes along and tries to intervene, they are then against the cop and for the thief, because the thief is then the oppressed. I mean, that's how this all works. It's okay, well, it's between this side and this side, I'm for this one, but now if it's this guy and this other guy, I'm against him, because this other guy is more of a minority. It's, again, morals are out the window. Morals have no place in this mindset. This is a sick way of just throwing morals away.
That's exactly right. I mean, she's regurgitating the same talking point of, don't make us think about anything that makes us feel even a little bit uncomfortable. You're only here to entertain us, and that's it, right? And that.
Who said that? Who? This is again with what she really means is, what she's really saying is, don't make me think because thinking makes me sad. I mean, this is bullying tactics.
It's beyond insulting. This is an art form.
You are beyond insulting, Anna.
That Beyonce and many other artists use in order to express what their community is going through, what other communities are going through. It's a form of expression.
Have you read the lyrics to Formation? I love those Negro Jackson 5 nostrils. Hot sauce in my bag swag. When I fuck him good, I take his ass to Red Lobster. I mean, that is not a political message. That is black stereotypes being flaunted around left and right. It's not the 80s. No one says Negro anymore. I mean, that's how contrived it is. That they were sitting around in a room being like, yeah, what could we do that's really edgy? We got Super Bowl coming up. We got to do something that's really going to show them that Queen Bee's back. And, I know. Well, you can't say nigger on the radio. You can't say nigga on the radio. What about Negro? No one said that in a while. No one said that. I'll show you something here. And this is just to make light of all of this. But, Ben Shapiro made a remark saying 5 years from now, you could have Barack and Michelle performing a musical concert at the Super Bowl and Jay-Z and Beyonce as the first couple. I think he is completely right. And you know what? I think that this is what Michelle Obama would be singing. And the other thing is, let me just add this. When Beyonce and Jay-Z go to the White House, Michelle and Beyonce are not exchanging muffin recipes. They're not talking about what's best to season the collard greens with. They're talking about, all right, well, we endorsed you. We helped get you elected. What are you going to do for us? Oh, you're going to give us clearance to go down to Cuba? Cool. Okay, you endorsed us, we helped push you, all right, we'll help push your race war. It's politics and it's strategy, because it's at a day and age where the celebrities are the cultural ambassadors. They're not having little benign, nonchalant, meetings to exchange cooking tips or something. But 5 years from now, will be Michelle Obama singing at the Super Bowl.
Fried chicken, fried chicken, fried chicken. Yeah, we gon' fry that chicken, fry that chicken, fry
Now that you hear me, you might as well, I'm going to remix this, and I'm just going to put Beyonce in me. Hot sauce in my bag, swag. You hear me?
I got a pan, I got a plan. I'ma fry this chicken in my hand. I got some hot grease and a whole chicken. Gon' wash your hands, cause you gon' be licking them. Big old thing of fries with spice all on them. My fried chicken gon' take you over. Everybody want a piece of my chicken. Peaches got that fresh hot ghetto fried chicken. Everybody want a piece of my.
Maybe the next Nicki Minaj single, you know, with the blue hair could be. Just saying. I mean, that's what Formation basically is, as far as musical artwork and everything like that. I mean, so please end quickly, Anna. Don't say anything too stupid, because I really don't feel like stopping anymore.
And to say to someone, hey, you know what? We're going to censor your expression because we don't like it. It makes us feel uncomfortable. You're not allowed to talk about these things during the Super Bowl, is ridiculous. I mean, she doesn't seem to understand.
Anna, you don't seem to understand that the whole premise of Super Bowl is your team versus my team. And Beyonce is basically coming out and saying, this is my team, fuck your team. People are already in that mindset. That's the point that Tony or Tommy or whatever her name is trying to make, that you're already at an event where it's the height of tribalism, the height of us versus them, you versus us, me versus you, and Beyonce is perpetuating it.
Understand it or comprehend it. By the way, this is also the same woman who a few years ago said that Hillary Clinton and Senator Warren look like men, old men.
Oh, okay.
She's a very...
Hillary Clinton does. Have you seen her lately? She's been wearing these sort of like Chinese Maoist fucking like button-up single one-color things. I mean, she does look like a dude. That's not a off remark.
Classy girl. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to the final video.
If you don't want us to look at the past in America and the things that happened and you want us to deal with it now, why are you trying to use Jay-Z's past against what Beyonce is saying?
I'm not using it against.
This is the other thing, where there is I wish there was another way to say this. I really do. But there is a attitude, and I'll go into this deeper. There's an attitude amongst black people that criticism is not welcome, where they want equality, but they don't want to be judged equally. Because I've seen, since the Super Bowl, the craziest of beyond crazy remarks, where it's like, you know, I don't know why Beyonce and Jay-Z and Barack Obama can't just be successful black people, why everyone got to take them down and criticize them and this, and that. And it's like, I mean, I think, hey, I don't know why you guys got to criticize white people as a whole all day long, as if all of us are so fucking similar. I don't know why you guys think all black people are so fucking similar. I mean, it's this crazy thing where, I mean, even Charlamagne, us. And this is the other thing, it drives me. Yo, we did it when the team wins. You are not on the team. You don't play in the Super Bowl. I mean, I'll see people when the BET Awards is on. Yo, we out there killing it. You're not at the BET Awards. You're not getting award. There is no we. Like, this collectivist notion is so insane. But the Post went on and was saying something like, but Beyonce, Barack, and Jay-Z don't lock your kids up. They don't do this. And it's like, Barack Obama oversees the federal government. He locks people up for fucking smoking pot every other day. That could stop with a signature, but it doesn't. And there's no accountability. Black people have not turned to him and said, Hey, listen, man. The war on drugs is disproportionately targeting black people. We all know that. That's not being debated. White people agree on that. Black people agree on that. But the whole thing that people don't want to agree on is whose fault it is now and who has the power to stop it. Because that's Barack Obama. And people don't want to look at him in that sort of light. Because then you start to look at him as like, okay, blacks are disproportionately targeted during the war on drugs because of the black president. None of these leftists want to say that. God forbid they say that.
That's what Beyonce is saying. I'm saying if we want to talk about the problems in black communities, you can't just talk about police brutality. You have to talk about all of it. Otherwise, it will never be a solution. There's still going to be problems in black communities. If white officers stop shooting any black person, there are still going to be problems in black communities.
Yeah, like the stabbing, that was the reason for the shooting. But that's whatever.
We need to address that as well.
Okay, if you go to an HIV/AIDS rally, right, and the rally is about HIV/AIDS, Tommy, do you stand up and say, "What about cancer"? Do you?
No, when you go to the Super Bowl and you're celebrating a day when everyone to come together, you don't stand up and salute a terrorist organization like the Black Panthers.
Oh, come on.
It's incredible.
No, it's completely logical to think like that. I mean, again, it is a divisive group, and I'm not going to outright come here and say the Black Panthers are a terrorist group. Like I said, a lot of good concepts. Things went off the rails at some point, but you should at least take that into account. And that's what I have a problem with lately, is now you're having this rewriting of history where the Black Panthers are looked at as angels, and any violence they ever did is looked at as completely justified. And it's this sort of mob rule, tribalist mentality.
It's incredible. But, look, the conservative media outlets do this, right? They find a young, impressionable girl, and they feed her the propaganda. She regurgitates their talking points. She gets the fame that she wants, and this is the product. I mean, she's the next.
Anna, liberal media does this thing where they find a young girl and she's impressionable and they feed her Marxist propaganda and she just recites it and gets famous, and here you have her.
Generation of Megyn Kellys and Ann Coulters, and it's just the way it works. Look, I actually commend her for having him on the show and having this debate, because I think these debates and the dialogue is extremely important. But it's unfortunate because after you watch the full interview, you realize that nothing really got through to her. She thinks that the Black Panthers were a terrorist organization.
The FBI thinks it too. I mean, let's just take issue with that. How about that? Ask yourself, why does the FBI consider them because, I mean, I think it would be in a chain of command type thing, like average lower class peasantry, which I'll include you TV hosts with. They're considering the Black Panthers a terrorist organization because the government considers them a terrorist organization. So don't take issue with Tommy. Take issue with the FBI. Oh, who runs the FBI and the federal government? Oh, Obama. Oh, no, but we can't mention that. Sweep that right under the rug. Come on, let's keep going.
She thinks that black people are whining over nothing. And she thinks, hey, you know what? If you want to talk about all of these unarmed people getting shot and killed, why don't we also talk about all of you guys killing each other? Why don't we talk about all of these crime rates within your community? It's the same stuff.
And here's the disconnect. If there's a large crime rate in a community, what are the police for? The police are there to stop crimes and to prevent crimes. And, I mean, it's cause and effect. It's that simple. There's a crime issue, so there will be a policing issue. Ta-da!
Talking points. Nothing gets accomplished.
She brought him on because she thought, this is a black DJ, I'm going to own him.
That's true.
Right?
No, she didn't think that. And if you actually watch the interview, they both kept saying, I think this is the dialogues that need to take place rather than one side just giving off their thing. You notice him with his signature move again, which he really thought was, I'm just going to own him. Oh, my God.
And it didn't turn out that way for her. And so she was a little flummoxed and just kept back because she doesn't have anything behind the paper-thin facade, so she kept going to her talking points.
You have nothing besides Marxism.
So, hey, just entertain us, right? Don't give me any other messages. Well, look, this racists have been saying this for a long time. Remember when the 1968 Olympics, they raised the hands that were covered in black gloves. Hey, your job is just to run and entertain us, okay? Don't make any political messages. That's what racists said back then.
Yeah, it's also a different world. Like, this is the craziness, where people really think, like, all right, let's just... In the 1960s, I guarantee you, people couldn't fathom the internet. And I have a real hard time believing that, people's lives are so disenfranchised just because they are born black, when you have people that were legitimately disenfranchised and poor as shit in countries like India and everything like that. But since they've had the internet, they are able to start online businesses, they're able to interact with the whole fucking world and get information from the whole fucking world and start up a business, whether it's off a blog and get paid per click. I mean, the internet has given so many opportunities just right at everyone's fingertips for anyone to try to act as if there's some sort of innate disadvantaged issue over race, color, gender, whatever, comparable from the 1960s to now. You're living under a fucking rock.
And here we are again. And in the 1960s, the fact that the cops were, in some parts of the country, brutal towards African Americans is not a debatable point. And so when white people use guns to protect themselves, their patriotic amendments...
Actually, I'm pretty sure when white people a few weeks ago were out in Oregon having a protest, basically doing what the Black Panthers would have done, they were called terrorist, Al-Qaeda, and the whole nine. I mean, the Oregon standoff, they were painted as terrorists. And here's the craziness of it all, is that people should have looked at them and said, you know what? These guys are doing what the Black Panthers would do. We should join with them. But instead, because they were white, it was Al-Qaeda, these guys are right-wing extremists, and all of this craziness, rather than just saying, this is what should be done by both sides. But instead, you have both sides are trying to say, oh, well, it's wrong for you guys, it's all right for us, it's this, and that. Divide and conquer.
Using their Second Amendment rights. When black people do it, they're terrorists.
No, I can...
Last week...
Oh my god, let me just prove Cenk wrong real quick. Oregon standoff, terrorists. Oregon standoff, terrorists. Or the Oregon standoff and the terrorist label. Are these patriots or domestic terrorists? Oregon terrorists and racial double standards. White House won't call it terrorism. Alright, now, the thing I said about criticism, and I might do a whole nother video about this, because I've realized that Bernie Sanders is to politics what Kanye West is to music. But, let's see, DJ Academics, I saw this, and Kanye is making headlines every other day now, and he basically came out and told white outlets to stop covering black music, because basically you're white, therefore your opinion's invalid. And DJ Academics is a great guy. I really like this guy's videos because he's fucking level-headed and honest and logical and common sense. As he even says in this, and I'll vouch for it, I liked Yeezus' album. The Yeezus album, because it was industrial, it had this sort of Marilyn Manson vibe, but he's completely right. Every black person I know hated it. They thought it was garbage. So the white people were the only ones supporting that at that point in time. You also have Kanye West, who's now $53 million in debt and asking Mark Zuckerberg for a loan. If anything, that right there is why he's comparable to Bernie Sanders, because he has this vision that he needs to achieve, and if you don't want to help him achieve it, you're a mean man who needs to be shut down and stomped out, and you should give everything you've got to help him achieve his dream, because his dream will give to everyone and will help everyone. I mean, it's the Bernie Sanders perspective Kanye West suffers from the same exact delusion. So here we go. And this is the attitude that was also put forth about Beyonce's performance. You can't criticize Beyonce because she's black.
It's George Economson. Check it out. Now, Ye Pac Shakur. Now, in Kanye's world, okay, and when I say Ye Pac, you guys obviously know that's a fucking joke. I mean, Tupac's a legend, and listen, Tupac was riding for thug life, Kanye's riding for flexible and fashion life. Who knows what he's doing, right? Now, pretty much Kanye West is commenting on people reviewing his album. This shit's crazy. The entertainer is telling people how to critique his own fucking album. This shit's getting out of hand. Now, I get Pitchfork, and that's a very popular outlet. I guess they reviewed his album, maybe not favorable, or maybe not favorable enough, because apparently they didn't even slam it. They said it was good. But it wasn't enough for Ye Pac Shakur. So Ye Pac, he actually got on Twitter, and by the way, he's been infected with a deadly disease of Twitter fingers. I don't even think Meek Mill has been infected with this type of disease. Okay, actually, yeah.
You know, sort of like Charlamagne the God, Ye also had a song, I Am a God. Like the narcissism just seeping.
He did, because he got his career almost gunned up and clapped quick. But Ye Pac tweeted out this. He said, Pitchfork, the album is a 30 out of 10. What the fuck? This shit don't even make mathematical sense. Now he continued. He says, Puff Daddy's the most important cultural figure in my life. His influence means everything to me. Now he says to Pitchfork, Rolling Stones, New York Times, and any other white publication, please do not comment on black music anymore. Okay.
See, and here's the thing. You could be a musician. Music journalists could comment on the music, but blackness negates it all. Who's the racist in that dynamic? Mr. West.
Okay, you gotta imagine, right? This is Kanye in a motherfucking living room surrounded by all the Kardashians and Jenners and transgenders, okay? Imagine fucking Kylie, okay? We have Brusette, right? We have motherfucking, what's the other one? What are these people's names, right? We have fucking Rob hanging over his shoulder, and he's tweeting out all this pro-black shit. He's talking about white people don't comment.
That's not a pro-black remark. That's an anti-white remark. And that's the whole thing that's being pushed right now. Pro-black is an anti-white. But anything pro-white is automatically interpreted as anti-black. So much that I keep debating this idea and it's something I don't have the heart to dedicate to, but I really think it would get under people's skin. I think we need a CDL, and CDL, the C will alternate, whether it's Christian Defense League, Catholic Defense League, Caucasian Defense League, Conservative Defense League, because it's basic. I mean, everything that Marxism goes after, you could encompass with that, and there should be one just to kind of fight back against this, because the blatant lies that people are swallowing as factual truths are completely out of hand at this point.
Black music. Okay. And by the way, I don't even know what race the Kardashians are. I think they got a new race. It's just Kardashians.
Armenian.
Now, he continued. He says, I love white people. Obviously, right? Look at his wife. He said, but you don't understand what it means to be the great-grandson of ex-slaves and make it this far, okay? He says the system. We all know about the system. He says the system, and that's the theoretical day that DJ Khaled also uses. The system is designed for colored people to fail.
I like how academics points out it's theoretical. It's not factual, because then you got to ask, why Jay-Z? Why Beyonce? Why Oprah? Why Barack? And there was a quote. I wonder if I can find it real quick. Zionist, black, white, images. Let's see. There was a quote, like one of those, and it was basically saying how Zionists would use blacks and kind of, push that they how they would, let me see if I can find it. There's so many. Well, it basically went on about how they were going to use blacks to, saying they were oppressed the whole time, while kind of pitting them against whites in the media. Let's see. The Illuminati Jews who own the mainstream media and entertainment is using Hip Hop Nation and its music to transform slavery from a physical thing to a psychological thing. The American so-called Jew has been and is continuing to portray black people as lacking moral character. They continue to shape and provide a medium that allows Hip Hop Nation to portray the so-called American Negro as a race of thugs and buffoons. Definitely true. Where is the one I'm looking for, though? Either way, I believe the Vigilant Christian has it in his. But, I mean, it's basically what you see going on, where they have all the top positions in sports, media, music, doing very well in movies, and then at the same time saying how held down they are. And it's like to deny the obvious, basically, where you're obviously not held down if Beyonce is making like $230 million.
And one of her only voices is music. One of her only ways out is music. Don't tell me LeBron had a bad game. What your jump shot look like? Okay.
See, you can't criticize.
Okay. All right then. Then he says, shut the fuck up and enjoy the greatness. Okay. Now, Kanye West is obviously on a different and obviously a rare breed. I don't even know where they fucking cultivated this fucking crack rock, but it's doing wonders. They got this nigga on 100. Now, let me just say this, right? I'm black. Okay, so maybe I could comment on it since the white people can't comment. And by the way, to a lot of Kanye's white fans, I was saying that Yeezus was garbage, and I'm not gonna lie, the most people that defended Yeezus was Kanye's white fans. So Kanye, what about your white fans that have been defending your music and they really consider themselves as one of your disciples? Are you trying to say that their opinion don't matter, or maybe?
I noticed with the Beck thing, and also I think it's good to point out, the Super Bowl, because of its close proximity to the Grammys, a year ago from the Super Bowl, you had Beyonce in the headlines because Kanye West came out on stage and cut off Taylor Swift or whoever and said Beyonce's got the greatest album of all time. So they do this continual yearly bullshit to make sure they're dominating the headlines, and it's obviously publicity strategies. They have publicists. I mean, they hire people to figure what's going to get the headlines and everything. But you also have him cutting off Beck. And this is the thing I hate, because it again goes with that Marxist attitude, and you see Black Lives Matter when they cut off Bernie Sanders, is they get so drunk on self-righteous ideology that it to them it rationalizes being completely untasteful and rude and doing things that are so blatantly disrespectful to people, but because they're oppressed, they're able to do it. And obviously they aren't oppressed because, I mean, if there was really a white-powered control system, you'd think when Kanye West tried to walk up on stage and interrupt Beck's acceptance speech, you'd think Beck would have been like, hey, nigger, get out of here. Or there would have been a gang of cops running across the stage to gun Kanye down or something. But that's not what happened. And here's the other thing that I've had floating around in my head, and I should do a whole video on this. The Dixie Chicks came out and said, I'm ashamed that my president is from the same state as us, Texas. They said that at a private concert, and next thing you know, their records were being burnt in the streets. They were being blackballed, boycotted. You never heard from them again. Kanye West comes on TV and says, George Bush does not care about black people. And look at Kanye now. I mean, he's in debt, but he's still one of the biggest artists out there. He's able to get on stage and act like a jackass every chance he gets, and they still give him chances to act like a jackass. And if there was this white power control system, you think they would have gave the Dixie Chicks a pass and would have shut down Kanye West. But that's not what happened. So, anyone, if you're really interested, I recommend you check out the rest of DJ Academic's videos. He does a great job reporting all of the hip-hop stuff and adding common sense into his perspective onto everything. And I've proved again that the Young Turks are fucking warped Marxists, so you should just disregard them altogether. I hope someday they wake up from their own egos, because they're just so full of themselves. So, I'm going to end this video for here. I hope everyone enjoyed.